Good morning. This is the Friday Fireside. Can't believe after 6 years I still can't say it. Friday Fireside, and I'm here with Kevin Colligan, who is the CEO and president of Local Public TV. And boy, am I glad to have you on the show, buddy. So,
Thanks, Rick. Happy to be
tell us a
here.
little bit about yourself because I think that your background has a lot to do with the conversation we're going to have in a minute.
Yeah, sure. So, my background is in the digital world. I started way back when in the 90s as a newspaper reporter before getting into the digital side of newspapers. And then that led me on a long adventure in different blue chip digital orgs, probably most notably Major League Baseball Advanced Media. So I was there in 2001 when we first launched. Designed the content management system when the one that we got from a vendor kind of fell on its face. And learned a lot about hub and spoke type of structures for
Yep.
CMS hubs there that really comes into play now with local public. Also I've been kind of working in the kind of intersection of internet and television for a long time. Also as head of digital for the Grammy Awards, which most people know is the big broadcast, but there's a recording academy behind it, which is a member organization. Um, so I came in and brought that system to a new sort of cloud, modern digital infrastructure. And then I came to Cascade PBS. That's the PBS station in Seattle, formerly KCTS 9. Um, and pretty quickly, once I got there, it was in television. This was at the tail end of 2018. And we looked at the membership projections, we looked at our broadcast numbers and projections. And it was pretty clear then, as it was to most anyone paying attention, that broadcast was a swiftly declining asset, and the future, if we wanted to have one, would have to be in streaming.
Okay. So tell us now, what is local public TV?
Okay, so local public TV is basically, well, I'll go back to Cascade PBS for a moment. When I was there, we developed a system, basically a local streaming system, member supported. It's built atop PBS APIs. So we pull in all of the PBS programming, all the American Public Television programming that's in the system, programming from NIDA, as well as individual stations. And we built a modern streaming app. And what we saw pretty quickly was we were seeing two times the membership conversion that we would see on the national PBS app, which the national PBS app is trying to do something a little different than us. I mean, but PBS has a mission to reach, 99 point something of the population. Um, that's great. Our mission here with local public is to keep stations viable and in business. So all these stations, there's, depending on how you count them, 190 to 300 something PBS stations. And these are the tributaries that feed into the big PBS river. And those stations are very much at risk. It's basically, in the simplest way, PBS was kind of wholesale, right? They're the brand, they're all the programming. The local stations are retail. And we used to, in the old day of DMAs and broadcast, have basically a monopoly in content, right? If you want to see your masterpiece or Nova, you would tune into your local PBS station. The internet, like it does, comes along and kind of upends retail models, right? Now you can stream masterpiece programming from commercial platforms and many different places. Local stations need to step up. So that's why we built our system to be. Um, Basically, it's in our vision is your station app should be the replacement for your station. That's the new hub of the wheel for a PBS channel. PBS channels do a lot of things, right? They've got journalism, maybe they have educational programs, they have live events, etc. But everything has been centered around the television station, right? That's how word gets out. That's what people watch. That's where donations come from. With everyone moving to streaming, we're losing that hub. So we're trying to build a new hub, which right now are these local streaming apps. There's no local public app. You would go and get like a WIDA Plus app or a, WHY in Philly, WHYY Watch app or Cascade PBS app. We're white label, and what we do is we build the infrastructure that lets individual stations run locally curated apps that the stations own. Stations get all that first party data. And the idea here is we want to convert more members. That's step one, keep stations viable. Step two is we're really trying to build public media on the internet. And what I mean by that is Everyone knows about Cory Doctorow's and shitification talks. Um, we're trying to kind of be a de-shitification company where we are looking at how media is built, what the business models are. A lot of them are predatory on people, trying to hoover up your data,
Yep.
giving you AI slop, clickbaity stuff. We don't have to play by those rules. We're not measured by that metric. Stations are measured by um, providing services that lead to people wanting to become members. And it's very simple. We just serve the public. We don't serve advertisers or data brokers or anybody else, or we're not part of a big multinational corporation that's trying to get sign off for a merger. Um, we're here, we're local, um, and here to serve the public.
Okay, so now you say that the streaming app would be then the hub, and I'm going to add the word eventually,
Right.
of a local PBS broadcaster's um, distribution. Initially, they're all broadcast and they add some streaming, and if things go well, you have a transition over to more streaming and probably never eliminate the broadcast because, after all, first of all, you've got the bandwidth, you have the license. That is a big, excuse my French, effing deal
It
in
is.
the broadcast world. Okay. Um,
Absolutely. And a lot of people will come by and, I've heard a lot of times people say, well, PBS can't compete with a Netflix or with a Hulu or one of these big giants. And you're right. In some ways we can't. We don't have those deep pockets. We don't have those huge staffs. What we do have, though, is nationwide broadcast coverage, which is an advantage no other streaming organization has. We also have not just local broadcasts, we have events in people's neighborhoods. We've got, education programs. We've got deep community ties. So when we're building a streaming app, I kind of look at PBS stations as sort of almost like a content club in a way.
okay.
You're attracting members, and those members are there to support quality content through their membership for themselves and for their communities. So yeah, that's kind of, what we say is we want to build a vertically integrated but fully federated media company, which means we're here to preserve all the individual local voices, almost kind of like to use an environmental analogy, the biodiversity of media. So it doesn't roll up into just a few mega corporations at the top controlling everything. But to be successful, these independent organizations need modern infrastructure. They need to be able to collaborate. They need the type of systems that large, multinationals can build. We think today that we can build that, and we have been building it from the ground up as a grassroots movement to power. Now we're at 19 stations. We plan to be at 100 stations at the end of 3 years.
Oh,
And maybe do a little work with PBS as well, which are a vital partner, of course, to the local stations.
okay. So right now, anybody can pick up. For me in Maryland, it's channel 22. You got an antenna, you get channel 22. You have
Right.
cable, satellite, you get channel 22. There's no payment, there's no subscription. The support is completely voluntary.
Right.
When you are watching channel 22 on an app on your phone, I would assume there's going to be some kind of login, or do you just download the app and bang, it's there?
There's a login, so we have people log in with a free PBS account,
Okay.
absolutely free. You don't have to donate, and there's lots of free programming that you could watch. So the PBS, it's almost kind of like the catch-up model that was popular a while ago, where a broadcast program might appear on
Yeah.
television Tuesday night, and then it's
Yeah, and
available
then
free for a couple
available
of
Wednesday
weeks.
morning. Yeah, well, that's
Right,
still there.
right, right, right. Also, there is an upgraded tier if you become a member, and it's very affordable. I think it's like $60 a year to become a member of your local stations. That may vary, but depending on your station. But then you're eligible for Passport. What Passport is a collection of members-only content
Right.
put together by PBS that has, then you could see the full series, you could see early binges, etc. So it's
That's an
almost
on-demand service,
that is an on-demand
primarily
service.
an on-demand
Yes.
service. So I get the entire catalog of Turn Washington Spies or whatever.
Correct, correct.
Oh, okay. So,
You also have the live streams of the channel. So, and most stations have, a flagship main channel. They have several sub channels like a PBS Kids, a Create, which is kind of like a maker channel, World, which is an international channel. Some stations like WIDA in Washington, D.C., they've got quite a few. They've got like a Metro channel, they got their own UK channel. So anything that the station can broadcast today is also streamed. So you have that live video, you have the VOD, the free VOD, and then you have the members only VOD. We're not throwing everything out and starting new. What we are doing is we're modernizing pieces, right? So PBS has the backend infrastructure, CDNs and stuff for serving the video from their system. That works great. It's reliable. You press the button, the video plays. That's what people need and want. What we didn't have is sort of modern tools to collect all that programming, to curate it for each market, and to present it in a way that's, effortless and easy and habit forming. That's kind of the main thing that we're doing right now, taking the pieces here and putting them together in a way that makes more sense. We are also building out in our next phase, and we just spun out as a I should mention we just spun out as a standalone public benefit corporation July
okay.
1st. Before that, we were a division of Cascade PBS.
All right.
As of today, we're still 100% owned by Cascade PBS, but we have multiple stations that we expect will be investing in us because we want to be serving multiple stations. This is not just like a Seattle thing, right? But some of the big pieces that we're looking to tackle in the next phase of this, we've got our front end apps. We're going to continue to improve, continuously iterate on those to improve. But we're also building in the programming pipelines behind that to bring in more content to the organizations. So, for example, when I talked before about in the past, when local PBS stations had their programming monopoly, that's not the case anymore. We have all this great PBS tentpole content, but that content is in a lot of places, right? You can get on the Amazon Masterpiece channel, you can get on several paid platforms. What we're trying to do is to supplement that programming with locally produced programming. So we're trying to
Okay.
build up systems and economies to encourage that, as well as other programming that we'll bring into the system. So, we're talking a lot with the International Documentary Association, for example. Can we bring in documentaries at scale and to stations to supplement what we've got there? So we're building something that we call the public market, which will be an exchange, a place to license and exchange programming between stations, and it has the sort of PBS quality lever. So these would be programming groups that are invited in based on PBS connections and past, these are the people who are doing the PBS work now. So we're not replacing those people. What we're doing is we're giving them the tools to do more than they've ever been able to do. And with this public market, we're introducing a couple of new formats. So our first one that we like to talk about is Foost, Foost TV, or Foost channels. Fast, of course, free
Yeah.
ad supported. So we're building free user and underwriting supported television. So FUU, you can have an umlaut in there, maybe, I'm not sure. Same concept,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
as opposed to Fast, where a lot of Fast is kind of shovelware, it's like monetize your archives. These would be channels that we put together. The Foosh channels would be channels that we put together intentionally. So working with partners like maybe American Public Television or PBS Charlotte for local, or working with various groups to put content into a big bucket. And the way we have the exchange piece of this is if you enter programming into the system, there's a little monetization pre-roll that goes with it. So now your program may appear as VOD on various apps. It could appear in a linear channel as well. And the creator is getting paid every time through that sponsorship. So it's a little bit of money coming in.
Okay.
The other
We're
piece,
we're about out of time.
oh,
How do people find you if they want to get engaged with you?
localpublic.tv. So,
Localpublic.tv. Okay. Kevin Colligan from localpublic.tv. Thank you for your time, and we'll be watching with great interest. Bye bye.
thanks so much. Bye bye.